Okay, cool. That works, I guess.
So where do you want to start?
Scoot my chair back a little gently so it doesn't... There we go. All right. Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. So flip a coin, see what we do first.
I'm gonna... I mean, I guess I just saw Ugly Dolls, so we can do that.
All right.
I just came out of it.
Yeah. So I saw this. So I guess we're doing Ugly Dolls first. So I saw this Sunday night after a long day of work in a crowded theater in Newark, and I sort of sitting there.
Crowded.
Yeah, it was crowded when I went there.
All right.
Go figure. But I just know, like, I was in a theater full of, like, little kids, and just one 27-year-old sitting in the back who just clearly does not want to be there.
Wait, so like a field trip with a chaperone? Or?
No, they were all family just by themselves. I think they were trying to give kids something to do when they really wanted to go see Avengers.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Avengers is twice as long as that movie. What did they do for the other half of the movie?
I know, I'm thinking the parents would rather be watching Avengers right now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought you were like, they went to see the Avengers and sent them to, as, like, have Ugly Dolls as the babysitting service.
No.
And then let them, wish them the best of luck for the other half of the movie.
Bye, fuckers.
Yeah, take a little bit of that goodness.
There you go.
Got a light AC running, but we don't want to turn up too loud because it's right next to the camera. So I took notes because I just came out of it. We're filming this on my lunch break.
Mine too.
And I was the lone bearded adults, balding, overweight adults walking into a theater for a kids movie for a matinee. Which was populated by maybe 3 other parents and their kids, but I felt weird.
That reminds me, I want to go see like the Jason Segel, not Jason Segel, the Muppets.
Oh yeah. Well, at least it's the Muppets.
Yeah, like, that it was weird. Like I was literally like surrounded by kids everywhere, and just one like 20-something-year-old man.
But like you can understand the Muppets somewhat appealing to adults. There's a nostalgia thing. This is Ugly Dolls. I have no connection to this. There's no way I can have a connection.
Oh, you don't have like
I'm here alone.
You don't have a connection to the deep and complex nature of the Ugly Dolls universe.
Yeah. It's gonna really be a cinematic universe.
Oh, I'm sure.
Move on to
Can't wait for the crossover of My Little Pony.
Good God. So quick run through the trailers. The Addams Family looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
I still can't believe that Dora the Explorer is going to be a movie, but it doesn't look terrible.
It's better than Sonic.
Abominable actually looks kind of fun. It looks cute.
DreamWorks always has a hit and miss with their animated movies.
But Abominable looks adorable. I gotta look at who's making it, but it looks like it's got the right things in the right places. And I always give it a certain amount of like leeway because it's a kids movie.
Yeah. So, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Angry Birds.
Oh God.
2.
Yeah.
No, literally in my notes, Angry Birds ... 2. It looks like an Illumination picture, like basically that level of quality is like Sing and all that shit. The live action Pokemon still look awful if you ask me. Like,
I mean, I think it's like, as far as they're adapting Pokemon to theaters, they're
adapting it to live action CG, but at the same time,
I think it's the best it's ever gonna look.
I know, but the live action-ish Pokemon look awful. Like, it's creepy still. They look gross to me still.
I kind of dig it. I've gotten used to it.
No. It's
I've heard it's adorable. So
I think Sonic looks better. The Sonic we have now looks better than like some of the Pokemon in that trailer.
Some, but not most.
Not most. It's in the middle. But Sonic is like a mid-range Pokemon. Okay? Anyway. And My Spy, starring Dave Bautista and some young girl teaching him to not be a...
Oh, yeah. I got that trailer too when I saw this movie.
It doesn't look terrible.
It kind of looked kind of cute. Like I like Dave Bautista.
Doesn't look terrible. Yeah, sure. Okay.
I like Dave Bautista. He's like he has an interesting filmography. So
yeah, and he's doing a kids movie. It looks cute, and it is funny seeing him like
like he's very funny comedic
he's
actor.
not hamming it up as much as The Rock did in The Tooth Fairy.
Oh
so,
god, no! And then this place, like the joke at the end with the fish, made me laugh.
Yeah, that was I was like, whoa, kid, what the fuck?
Kid's cold as fuck. Even JP's like,
Yeah, right.
dude, shit. Not the fucking fish.
Yeah, right. Okay, so off to Ugly Dolls. First off, seeing that this was partially funded by China. On the level, I have weird issues with the whole Chinese backing of Hollywood these days. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird the way that the industries are merging, and they're kind of.
I don't know enough about it to have a strong opinion about it.
Okay, well, there's just a weird Alibaba as an entity just kind of weirds me out because they're large scale, low level manufacturing. They're like if Walmart was cheaper and for the whole world, but when you say for the whole world, you mean the people who sell the cheap shit to everybody else, and it's just run off of these mills of people in China. It's really, it's kind of intense, and it's aggressive Chinese capitalism. And
what a way to start off the Ugly Dolls review. Let's talk about Chinese capitalism.
It's seeping into fucking California and then the movie industry.
What do you think, Gibberish Cat?
Honestly, I like Gibberish Cat. And he was
one I cared about.
He was one of the moments in the movie where it got an actual audible laugh from one of the kids. So there's that. Now, there are definitely parts in my notes where I just straight up go I need to stop trying to apply any kind of logic to this movie.
God, this is not a movie where logic applies in any way, shape, or form.
And it's a kid's movie, so you gotta let that shit go, but some of the stuff is just stupid!
Oh, you mean you didn't like it?
Honestly, I kinda did.
Really?
Yeah. As far as a kid's... Not in terms of, I enjoyed it, but... I guess when I watch a kid's movie, I have to gauge whether it's, it's enjoyable for kids, whether the jokes are because there's a fine line to walk with kids' humor. There's you say butts and a kid laughs, and or you do this thing where it just seems like it's just trying too hard to be relevant and all that, and that just lands flat. You can kind of sense where the line of cringe comes along.
I mean, you can tell right off the bat, this is meant for little kids. Oh yeah, 3 and 4 year olds. So it's a case where and that's the lens I had to look at it too. Or it's there's no universe where I'm gonna walk away from Ugly Dolls saying, hey, that was genuinely pretty good.
It was decent.
I saw my fair amount agrees with it. I think, granted, I saw it in a bad mood.
I have, probably colored your moment, but it's the thing about it is that it has a good message behind it, the same way that the Ugly Dolls, brand is meant to. But I have mixed feelings about, I understand they're trying to reclaim the word ugly.
Yeah, but the way it's thrown out is it makes you kind of weirdly uncomfortable.
Yeah, really uncomfortable.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
it's because we
live in Uglyville. Everyone's ugly here.
And I'm
can you not find a more positive word?
That's cute, I guess. And but sure, okay. So if you feel ugly, you're just there, and then let's see, how far do we go?
I mean, it's not like
they immediately kick into the music.
Oh, God.
In the first minute of the movie, they're into the music.
I mean, here's the thing about this movie, and I looked at the voice cast later. It's 90% of the people that have prominent roles in this movie are played by singers, and you can tell.
Wanda Sykes.
I was gonna say, except for Wanda Sykes. Wanda
Sykes is a breath of fresh air.
Wanda Sykes is the death nail for any film she's in. Is your movie animated? Yes, so I could go either way. Does your movie have Wanda Sykes in it? Yes. Sucks automatically.
I don't know.
Sucks. I have not seen a movie with Wanda Sykes in it that I thought was good.
Well, she definitely provides that adult cynicism and fourth wall breaking that's kind of okay, that made me smile in the middle of this.
But I mean, she's also Ice Age 4 and Evan Almighty.
I'm not getting there. Evan Almighty is not a kid's movie.
True, but it still has Wanda Sykes in it.
Okay, but enough with the Wanda Sykes hate. Chill, okay. She's cool. But yeah, so there's this opening song where everyone's just singing and dancing and going everything's best here, everything's better, it's great, and then it's not
It's
an
poppy.
offensive song. It's a poppy song, but as far as poppy songs go, like, it's okay.
To me, it seemed pretty generic.
It's pretty unoffensive.
Like, it's a generic, modern, animated kid music.
It's inoffensive. And there was definitely a point near the beginning of the movie where it was talking about, the big worlds. And the guy's like, there's no big world out there. There's just here. And she's like, what's the harm in believing? I'm like, is this going to be like a reverse Happy Feet? Is this like, are we going to get an anti-atheist movie with this? Like, is this going to argue?
Oh, God,
and there were moments where I returned to that concern because I'm not exactly one to...
Wait, was Happy Feet anti-atheist? I thought it was anti-Catholic.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the reverse.
Oh, okay.
No, it's one thing to have a movie that encourages kids to think for themselves. I think it's another thing to have movies that actively have subtexts of either being for or against religion. I just want that to be not part of a narrative of a children's movie.
And then you should be sad you didn't see Small Feet last year.
Small Feet?
Smallfoot, sorry.
Smallfoot. Oh, the Bigfoot one.
The Bigfoot one.
Yeah, okay.
Or the Yeti one. Yeah, that one was anti-religion.
Yeah. So she goes like, what's the harm in believing? Okay, and they dance and everything. I still have an issue where Ugly Dog's eye goes when he puts on the sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
That bothers me. I don't know what to do with that.
I noticed that too, but I think I just did not care at that point.
Can you just read this moment in my notes? Just read it out loud.
Oh, God. The moment the music ended, I felt a sense of dread. This isn't a trailer. I'm here.
Because I was like, all right, this is it's like music. And then, like, they just start talking normally. I'm like, oh, no, I've committed to this. So, and then the mayor goes like, oh, we're happy here. It's live. And Moxie goes, isn't there something more you could be doing? I'm like, Jesus, Moxie, just fucking let this guy live and enjoy himself. Like,
what are you doing to stimulate our economy, Mayor Ox?
Why? We're having a good time and enjoying life. Well, yes, but does your life have meaning? Like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Sure.
There are some parts, like, some of the characters in this movie are so like, oh my God. Like, I think Kelly Clarkson plays Molly, or whatever the hell her name is, Moxie.
I wrote it down.
You get it? Because she's got Moxie, waka waka. Anyway.
Oh God, I didn't even connect that. Okay, so it goes from that to her being like, well, I didn't get picked today, but tomorrow will be another day. And it suddenly goes into like this down-tempo sad version of the song. I'm like, oh God, I feel sad. Why do I feel sad and lonely? This feels a little strong for this movie.
I will say there is one moment towards the, I mean, we'll get to it, but there's one moment at the very end of this movie I did genuinely thought was actually a pretty good scene.
Yes,
and
we'll get to it.
You know what I'm talking about. We'll get to it.
And then she's like, I'm gonna go off and find the big world. And immediately I'm like, oh God, this is about religion. She's gonna go find God. This girl's gonna kill herself.
Just comes back like, what's his name from Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, right.
Like bald and smoking a cigarette.
But I gotta say, I did, however abrasive I find it during the trailers, when you're actually sitting there watching the movie, the art direction is not as bad as it initially felt like. Like, honestly, I kind of enjoyed the art direction after a while. I like the little details, like the lollipop the mayor was eating was shaped like him and also woven out of fabric.
For me, it's more like, I just saw this in Trolls like a couple years ago.
I didn't see Trolls.
They did the exact same thing. So I was like, okay, so
movie or
the movie
plot or like...
just the artistic style and everything, the same kind of music and same kind of art style and same kind of art directing. Except that one was the Juice Box musical. I know Trolls was weird. Also had Justin Timberlake as a cynicism troll, so that was interesting too.
All right, and you definitely have the thing, and here I write, such angry atheists, such a peppy, fun, sweet believer. Like, they definitely go hard on the whole thing of, come on, guys, don't you want to see what's out there? Don't you know there's a bigger thing out there that everyone else denies? Like the flat earth? Like
no, Flick, we put the food on the offering so the grasshoppers can eat it. And that's the way our society works.
And in the moments of all this really, like, peppy stuff, I did find myself enjoying Wanda Sykes' just cynicism in the middle of it. I'm like, thank you, Wanda Sykes.
I will admit, despite my previous critique, I mean, I have nothing against Wanda Sykes personally. I just know whenever she's in a movie, it's like, oh God.
Okay, so up the pipe they go. and they go and they're in the darkness, and then all of a sudden, I guess something opens underneath them and they fall into this slide system, but they didn't notice they were walking into... How did that happen?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. They just suddenly go from darkness to we're going down these slides, and the slides don't make sense. They're whimsical and fun, and it's fine. But they're all these
pretty sure they pass Alec Baldwin baby on the way down.
Oh God, yeah. No, there's a lot of just flat-faced things around them. The doll templates.
Creepy as fuck.
And I love how the slides they went down were for the human-looking dolls. Like, in the beginning, they showed the factory. They were making all kinds of different cute little dolls. But they go down to the section that has the human-looking dolls. So, not only do they not look like... Not only are they not imperfect, they look like fucking monsters compared to these things. Like, it's not like, oh...
Like evolution took a turn.
Yeah, not even. Like aliens, straight up, they just look inhuman. It's not like, oh, these dolls are pretty, and oh, these dolls are not quite perfect. It's, oh, these dolls look like... perfect little human dolls, and these dolls are weird little stuffed animals with 3 eyes and like prongs coming out of their heads. Like, oh, okay. Also, moments in this movie that were just like, this feels inappropriate.
Which one were you?
The first one that struck me really strongly.
I saw this on Sunday, so you got to refresh me on memory on a couple things.
When they're scanning, it's like, you are a lawyer / model.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go to the next one, it's like, you are an engineer / model. And then it goes to the next one, and it says, you are not a model. And the camera starts freaking out and breaks because they're so ugly. And as it's going out, it says, tell my family I love them.
That's right.
What the
I forgot
fuck?
about that.
What?
I forgot about that, man.
I had to stop myself from just like
screaming at
loud, like just in the theater going like, what? Oh my God.
I guess the camera had a little family, the little camera children.
I don't know, but the idea that the camera is sentient enough to be like, tell my loved ones I'm about to die. Like, okay. So there's that. They have the Mean Girls.
Yeah, and that leads into Nick Jonas's character.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, like, here's what, like, I will say this about, like, the other voice actors, like, they're not great, but they're serviceable.
Yeah, no, it's not a terribly voiced movie.
No, it's not.
It's actually reasonably well made.
And then you get to Nick Jonas, who is so bad. Oh my God, he is so bad.
He's hamming it up.
But like, not in a way that's like fun. Like, no, he's trying to like...
It's gross. His character is gross. The character's meant to be gross. But I have a distinct problem when you have a movie that's meant to be about feeling like accepted and loved and everything, and you have, you know... The overall message of the movie is, of course, that you don't have to be perfect to be lovable. You don't have to look perfect to be lovable.
I mean, if you can't figure it out within the first 5 seconds.
Yes, yeah. And that's the whole thing. So why is there like a 4-minute sequence where there is this perfect-looking dude who is dancing around and everyone's looking at him and adoring him, and he's walking around telling the other perfect dolls that they're too short or their head is too big and they're just ugly, and I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. And it's all catchy and fun, and this is totally a song that will be on the soundtrack, and if kids listen to the soundtrack, this is a song that they can jump around singing and pointing at other kids and going like, you're just ugly, and that's the ugly truth. Like, in terms of messaging and thinking of what this movie's about, I felt like that was a gross oversight. It felt uncomfortable to watch. I was like, there are kids like hearing this.
And I'm like, to me personally, that's like, I kind of just classify that like with like the Disney villain songs, because we all sung "Be Prepared" when we were younger, and that's about
but that's ominous. It's not telling people they're gross.
It is about him basically making a Nazi regime, though. So is it really better?
Yes. It doesn't feel targeted at the audience. It doesn't feel targeted at the main character. It doesn't feel like...
It serves its purpose. I get what you're saying, but...
I know it serves its purpose, but I just feel like in the context of the overall movie, it feels like it could be not that great of a thing. Because like halfway through the song, I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, we get it. This is not...
Yeah, I mean...
This shouldn't be as glamorized as it feels.
I mean, I feel like every song in the fucking movie, though, as I was like, all right, we get the point, move the fuck on.
Yeah, but this is a song telling people that they're ugly.
I mean,
don't.
I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I don't think this movie's going to be big enough for it to really be a problem, so...
It doesn't matter how big... The idea is, like I said, one of the things I evaluate a kid's movie with is the way the messaging works and how that's conveyed. And that's why, it's one of the problems I have with Toy Story 3. Okay, so they just turn day to night and summon to concert, and Lou is just a douchebag. Oh yeah, at one point in the song he says glutes as tight as mine, and like...
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
I'm like, what? What? Okay.
Mommy, what's a glute?
Yeah, right.
It's your ass, son.
Okay.
It's your ass.
And there's a mean girl with empathy, and her name's Mandy, and she's like she's insecure because she's not as mean as the other ones, and she wears glasses, but she hides it.
Ooh.
And
like, hey, you monsters that came out of nowhere and look nothing like anything else. I'm just like you because I wear glasses. That's like a white guy going up to like the ghetto and going like, "Hey guys, I got turned away from a Mexican restaurant once, so I totally get it."
Oh yeah, no, it's like there's this weird contingency of centrists who think that it's offensive for you to say that they can't empathize with someone's struggles. And I'm like, you don't understand as a white person what I go through.
Yeah, that's kind of...
He's like, are you saying I can't empathize with what you experience? Like, that's a basic human trait, like empathy. How can you say that? How can you even say that I can't understand what you go through? And I'm like,
because empathy requires you to have any sort of context.
There's a difference between if you have a family member die in your arms, I can understand it, but that's not the same thing. So, yeah, there's a gap. There's a gray area.
It's more like you can sympathize, surely, but you can't empathize unless you've been there.
Yeah.
Or at least in a similar experience. Yeah. And quite frankly, if you're whitey like me, there's no way you can because you've never experienced anything even remotely close to it.
Yeah. So we're both SJWs clearly. But then it feels weird. I guess it's nice that they don't really go hard on that. I could see how they do the whole thing where it's like, hey, she's insecure for this reason, and it shows how high the pressure in this world is versus, these people being, inhuman. And maybe it's meant to be this whole thing where it's like she doesn't feel like she belongs, so she has a harder time being an asshole about it. But
it's like, again, if you want to sympathize, sure. But I did have a little issue of the whole equivalence thing of, hey, I wear glasses. I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which it's a kids movie. So
I know. We're kind of diving too deep into it.
So it's one of those things. Yeah, I don't want to get super deep in this because it's not a super deep movie by any stretch of the imagination. You can predict this movie from
I just saw it and took notes of the whole thing. So so they get to stay. They go. All the houses are the same. One of them has an aneurysm because of it.
That's right.
And then the Lou sends the other three mean girls over to Charlie's Angels, their way into Uglyville, which is cute enough. Moxie and them, they try to be perfect, and they go compete in the thing, and they realize they can't compete, and oh god, we're boxed in. And then, oh god.
I'm watching notes, and I just see the phrase "oh God" come back over and over again without context.
So Marie,
it's like if you get your essay back from your teacher in English class, and the first thing is like, "Oh God,
no, what, no." But yeah, so they have this sequence where they try to dress up to look pretty so they can play at their own game, and it's like, wait a minute, you just look weird. But then Mandy does this whole sequence. It's the song is all dolled up or something.
Oh yeah,
and she's like, "Hey, that's when
even I kind of created a kind of fucked up message to it."
Yeah, it was. At first, I was behind it because it's like, I think you guys look great, but if you want to put on some makeup and stuff and look better, that's fine. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But then it turns into this thing where there are lines like, when you're all dolled up, people only see what you want them to see.
Yeah.
Less behind that.
See, like, and that's
Less
where, like,
so.
I'm willing to scrutinize that song more than the villain song, because, like, the villain song is meant to, like,
No, I get that.
Like,
I get
be like, you're not supposed to think this way. This
I
one's
get
like, this one feels like it's trying to be more sincere, which makes it more troubling to me.
Yeah, there's problems with the messaging throughout this movie. But then that's over, and they all go off all dressed up in their suits and everything, and Mandy stays behind, and that's when I go, oh, it's sad now. Oh God, that was sad. And then it said, the line that she says is, I wish I didn't need to get all dolled up. If I could choose who I could be, I'd be a whole new me. I'm like, oh God, that just undermined the entire previous song.
For kids.
And, like, that's a really sad, I mean, I get that that's part of the problem with the society that pressures you to be perfect, and I get that, but damn, guys, that just took a hard turn into I hate myself territory.
And then it just drops it.
Oh yeah, not to mention, they have waxing as one of the things you can do with a doll, and I'm like,
how does that work? Yeah.
How are you telling a 5-year-old about waxing their body? Not okay. And Lou, when they get back, Lou specifically says, like, you can try, like, he lists off a bunch of stuff, but the one I wrote down specifically was dollscaping.
I forgot about that. I completely blocked that out.
Okay, so then they go and they kidnap Ox, and Ox comes back with the Charlie's Angels girls, and
it turns out Ox and Lou know each other.
And he initially formed Uglyville because he found out that the reject dolls were sent to recycling. And so he boarded it up.
Genocide.
And he boards it up, and he creates Uglyville so that all the dolls can go there. So that's great.
Which makes it more horrifying. Realize they're all sentient. So basically, like,
yeah, no, we'll get further. But the message I got from that, going with the initial religious subtext, is atheists are lying to you because they weren't good enough for God.
Yeah, and that's probably not what they're trying to go for at all, but if it was, it's amazing.
No, it's not. It's not. But within, like, this is where it kind of starts moving away from that. But, like, there's a point where Lou straight up tells the dolls, you don't belong here. You don't belong anywhere. You shouldn't even exist.
Yeah, that's verbatim.
Fuck, dude. No. No, oh my
I agree.
God.
It's just funny to hear you say it.
This dude literally is saying that this guy's a fucking Nazi.
He is blonde and blue eyes.
Like, I know, but, like, beyond subtext, beyond, like,
it's the text.
He's beyond, like, it's not something where it's like, oh, he's giving hard right values or some shit. No, this dude is a flat out Nazi that thinks that these rejects, because they don't look perfect, shouldn't exist. Like, and it's just played off in this movie as like, oh, he's just a bad guy. Like, what? No.
Okay.
I just saw this, so I have feelings.
Okay. You got way more reaction to this than I did.
And when Lou sends them off, he tells them, don't come back or I will come and get all of you.
Oh, that's right.
And send you to recycling. He straight up threatens them with genocide.
Yep.
Like, oh my God. Oh my God.
I know. I just want, like, you realize, like, the big one can just throw you, right? There's a bunch from back over there.
Sure. But it's like, how... I'm wondering how he thinks he can get away with this. Does he just think that his army of perfect people will come with him? Because they also just found out. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. But this... Yeah, and then they go back to Uglyville and the whole town is depressed. There's one of the fucking stores that just puts a sign up that says closed due to hopelessness.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay. And there's one dude who literally is just sitting on his boat and gives a salute as it goes down. Like, he just gives up and sinks into the ocean.
Yeah, I know they showed, like, the throw in the vest where he, like, pops back out of the water, but, like, I almost sat there like, did he just die?
Did he just kill himself?
Like,
And there's
That was the point, like, I was already, like, falling asleep watching this. And that was part that woke me up. I was like, Jesus!
Yeah. No, there's a moment
Someone
like,
is trying to commit suicide.
and he pops back up, and I guess they soften the blow, and there's a cute moment where the octopus pulls him in and pets his head and tries to make him feel better. I like the cuddly octopus. It's cute. But dude just tried to fucking kill himself. And yeah, this sequence lasts like what, 2 minutes? But Jesus, man, it's so bad. And I'm like, I write, holy shit, this movie just became depressing as fuck. I mean, I get the hero's journey, but Jesus.
I think that was the case where, like, the whole thing with Moxie was going back and forth. It was like, I'm happy-go-lucky. Let's do this, guys. I feel defeated for approximately 2 seconds. Now I'm happy again. Let's go do this. I'm sad again.
Yeah, she might be bipolar.
Yeah, let's diagnose all the characters.
At the very least, she's got this whole manic thing going on. Like, I'm bipolar. I understand. It's this thing where it's like if there's
DSM out. Yeah,
there's just this. There's no middle ground for her. But okay. So then it comes to this point where she's depressed in bed, and Mandy comes over and tries to get her spirits back up. And then comes what I think is the best song in the movie, which is Unbreakable.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, show them you're unbreakable, show them what you're made of, show them what you actually are. You know, no one has to believe in you. Just be strong, push through, and you will show them that you are what you say you are. And that's, to me, that's what the whole moral of the story of the movie should be.
Yeah, and like,
it does a pretty good job. It's not a, wow, what happened to my voice? Does a pretty good job. It's not like, yeah, I brought them.
It's good, you missed him in Endgame.
Fuck, you're right. No, I didn't. I had a drink.
You did?
I did.
Oh, okay.
But there's just this whole thing where that song is pretty good.
It was alright. Like,
that song is okay, and its overall message is good. There's nothing that undermines it or undercuts it or changes the context afterwards. Overall, it is the one song in the movie that I think, like, kids should listen to and play over and over again.
For me, it reminded me too much of the Hugh Jackman musical, The Greatest Showman.
No.
It basically had this very, very, very similar song in there.
Sure, okay,
but
I think the context makes it a little better here.
I mean, it's fine. Like, for me, it's one of the cases where it's like, I think with my issue with the movies, it's kept just reminding me of movies that I'd rather be watching.
Yeah, well,
or like, not movies I'd rather be watching.
You really need to, like, tamp that down, because you just see more movies than anybody.
True, then that's true.
And a lot of them bleed together, and a lot of them are awful. So, yeah, just try to... Okay, so they do the whole Unbreakable song, and then they immediately get kidnapped afterwards, taking up the pipe, and then they run into Lou partway up the pipe, and then Lou says, I had a better idea, and then straight up murders them. Straight up throws Mandy and Moxie down the recycling pipe.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
And, okay, so they go back to the town. Wanda Sykes' character says, I need something stronger than this soup, which I was like, wait, what? And then the mayor Ox goes into...
I think I was like, me too, Wanda.
Yeah,
me
right.
too.
Ox goes off into Moxie's apartment to find her, and then finds this, what I thought was a sentient toaster, so I wondered why...
Oh, yeah!
That was weirdly horrifying.
Yeah!
Like, that toaster looks horrifying.
Or is it a printer? I thought
it is a printer. It is a printer. I just thought it was a toaster because of how it looked. So that happens. It spits out the pages to tell them what happened. So they go back to Moxie and Mandy, and what ensues is something that I think is way too fucking scary for this movie.
What, like the furnace of death?
Yeah, look, I took a picture. Look at this fucking thing. That is terrifying.
It's got eyes and everything.
It's got eyes and giant gnashing teeth and a glowing mouth, and like... It's really, as when I saw it, my first instinct was like, oh, that's intense. It's like, this movie's for kids, like little kids, not even like sort of little kids.
Not like ones
kids
that like can watch Toy Story 3 and be okay kind of kids.
Sure, yeah, although I still have strong problems with that moment. Yeah, so... They have this moment where they're about to be eaten by this giant fucking furnace shredder thing, and the other ugly dolls show up, and they chain together, and they pull them up, and they rescue them. Yay! Okay, so it's a reasonably short moment, but it's still fucking intense. And then Moxie goes back, gives a whole speech to them. They're like, we're going to go back. And then at one point she says, we're going to let our freak flags fly.
You can take this one. I'm not touching it.
I've never heard that phrase used outside of a sexual context, which means that I've never heard that phrase used outside of weird sex. So to hear that,
just all come into S&M gear. And
yeah, to hear that in the middle of an inspirational speech from a kids movie is like,
we're back, Lou.
So okay.
Like the big guy in the back has anal beads.
Right.
So
they go back. They do a surprise appearance with all the other ugly dolls during the gauntlet that's about to be run, and Lou's yelling about how they're going to run the gauntlet. It'll be fine. They're going to lose anyway. And he makes an announcement about running the gauntlet, and then there's one doll in the audience that yells, "I want to run your gauntlet, Lou."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what?
They're gonna bang.
So they have the gauntlet. They
Yeah.
have the robot dog
with the weird sentient baby.
Yeah, they have the robot dog. They have the vacuum. They have to run from. They have the RC bulldozer, which apparently can be controlled by the actual controls inside of it.
Oh, as you do.
It's fine. Fuck. Don't overanalyze it. And then the robot baby.
The creepy ass robot baby.
The robot baby, which has like the lines to show that the mouth is separate, but at the same time its lips can move.
That's
like,
right.
Its lips can move like a totally separate. I don't know who designed this.
It's like a Terminator boss baby.
Yeah, right. And they have the moment where Luke kicks the baby in the face to get away and runs off to try to win the gauntlet, and then Moxie decides to miss out on her chance to run through the finish line and runs back to comfort the baby. And that means she wins because love and compassion are a doll's true purpose. And
hooray.
I'm like, it's a robot baby. Why the fuck do you care? It's a prop in this gauntlet. Like, you're really gonna be like, aw, the robo baby.
That's what I was kind of wondering too. Is like, are these like robots like sentient?
Yeah,
they just sit stuck in this
if
fucking.
the dolls are sentient, why not?
I guess, but it's more like, but this is clearly like a prop to help with your gauntlets. That baby just sits there.
And then my
in the
question
darkness.
is, are you just assuming that the baby is gonna get kicked in the face when you construct the gauntlet? If that's the way to win, like, how does this? Fuck it.
And more importantly, if everyone run gauntlet multiple times at this point, how do they not know this?
Yeah, right. And then the stuff happens, and they find out that Lou's a prototype, so he can never win. So he's jealous, and he just does this whole speech where he destroys his credibility with everybody, and he tries to destroy the portal and succeeds, and they catch him, and they're like, "What do you want to do with him?" And one doll says, "Tear the stuffing out of it." And I'm like, "What? What? Disembowel him." Yeah.
Tie his limbs to horses, let the horses run.
For kids.
I mean, that being said, let's be fair, kids can handle some pretty dark shit.
Yes, but tear the stuffing out of him? Jesus. Okay, and then they all go up, and they're really sad, and Moxie has her sad moment where she's like, "I'm never gonna have a real kid now." And like, it does the reprisal of the first song where she's sad, and they all decide to start putting the pieces of glass back together, and when they put the glass back together, instead of the Vitruvian doll, it's got some ugly doll on it, and putting it all back together, there's one last heart-shaped piece of glass that they put in, and it shines bright, and suddenly it's fixed, I guess?
Sure.
Okay.
Like, whatever.
I don't care. And then they have the final sequence where, the ugly dolls and the perfect dolls are all living together, and they're fine being like the perfect doll. There's been this theme through the movie that the perfect dolls don't know how to have fun, and the ugly dolls do, and it shows the perfect dolls kind of letting loose and, getting messy and wearing weird clothes and all that stuff, and the ugly dolls just keep doing what they do, I guess. And the portal is now open for people to go back and forth as they please, and then Moxie goes, and there's the final scene, which is Moxie.
The final scene is like a genuinely pretty good scene.
Yes! And you can see it. You can see it in my notes.
That was the one part I was like, okay, movie, you get one good credit. That was a legitimately good scene.
You can see it in my notes. Say, damn it, movie, you got me there. Good ending.
Like, despite all the other crap in the movie, I was like, okay, unequivocally, undeniably,
you cannot
that was
argue
a good
with
scene.
that. Yeah.
That was a really good scene. And it also helped that nobody had to say a damn thing.
Yes, it's a dialogueless scene, and Moxie's put into a kid's bedroom with like a little birthday card on her and a little bow, and she goes up to see what's up in the bed, and then
the girl wakes up.
She goes and she hops up on the bed and she lands on a notebook, and when she moves, the notebook falls, and so she freaks out and does the whole Toy Story thing and freezes. Yeah. And the girl wakes up and picks her up and is like, "Oh, what's this?" And then turns her over and sees it's an ugly doll and just looks at her for a while and then smiles, and she's missing like a tooth in the exact same way that Moxie is.
It's like,
she hugs her.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that kind of got to me.
It did me too. Like,
damn it, movie!
No,
after everything you've done, you're not allowed to make me feel.
You and I are on the same page on that one. That was the case. Like, all right.
I was like,
despite as much as I did not enjoy anything else in this movie, I will give it that one credit. It's like, if there was more of that, this probably would have been genuinely good. So, I mean, at some point, someone with talent did a scene.
Yeah, that movie, I felt like if that...
And the rest of it was like studio notes.
Yeah, no, there was definitely a weird dissonance. Like, that last scene felt like it
came from a different movie.
It came from somebody who actually cared.
Yeah.
And really wanted to make something that had real heart, and it felt like that person wrote the rest of the script, and the rest of the script just got all these people injected into it who were like, we need more music, we need more celebrities, we need more jokes, and we just need to keep the kids entertained.
I think that's my biggest problem with the movie in general, is it just feels so, for lack of a better term, manufactured. Like, it felt like it was run largely on studio notes, except for that last scene.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not, like, offensive or anything like that. It's not like... It's not like
there are moments that I was like...
questionable, but it's
yeah, I definitely had moments where... As I've screamed what about throughout this review, where I was like,
I think it's harmless overall. I think
overall, there are much more offensive things in other kids' movies.
Oh, for sure.
And we forget what the '80s were like.
Yeah, like
because there was some fucked up.
Oh no, they were absolutely like never ending stories of a movie. Yay! Joy,
I rewatched that a couple weeks ago in
friendship.
theaters.
Artex, no!
And
don't give in the swamps of sadness. Fuck.
Yeah, no, traumatized everybody. And then of course in that movie ends with fucking like losing the battle and everything you know ever has been destroyed. Like, holy shit.
It's like, what was one thing I saw like a BuzzFeed or like Sexual Awakenings, and somebody's like, Leviathan, David Bowie's bulge.
Oh God,
that awoke it was something to me.
No, that's a lot of young people had moments with Labyrinth. Although personally for me it was Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
she's just gorgeous. That was my teenage crush in that movie. But yeah, as far as Ugly Dolls goes, it has its issues.
Labyrinth, not Leviathan, sorry.
Leviathan. I was like, what were you talking about?
No,
you said David Bowie's bulge, and I was like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Labyrinth, sorry.
But yeah, I think Ugly Dolls does a pretty decent job. It's generally inoffensive.
It's inoffensive, it's harmless.
I like the overall messaging. It's kind of inconsistent with it sometimes, and there are a couple moments that I had issues with, which I've outlined, but I do appreciate the overall message of the film.
Yeah, I'm like, I saw this in a theater full of like 3 and 4 year olds, and they seem like it fine.
It's
one of those things.
If you're concerned about taking your kids to this and like whether it does well at conveying the message that it's supposed to convey, kind of, but in the end it lands a couple of things, namely the Unbreakable song and the actual last scene. And those two, I think if you're talking about last impressions that the movie will leave you with, I think those are good things for a kid to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that's fine. So, I mean, like, I think there are movies that take the same message to do it better, but, like, again, it's inoffensive, it's fine.
In terms of movies that are in theaters
for what it is, like, it's perfectly fine, it's serviceable, it's inoffensive, kids will like it fine. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, I think I just sat there bored most of the time. Again, except for that last scene. But I
don't know if I would give it, like, as an adult, I would give this a 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
As a kid, I might give this like a 6 or a 7. You know, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's a movie I'd like see in the background sometimes when I was a kid, running around doing other shit.
Maybe, yeah.
But anyway, so that's Ugly Dolls. So
All right.
I'm gonna pause the video. Today we're gonna talk about, what was it?
Long shot.
Long shot. I almost said knocked out, and I know that wasn't right.
Knocked up.
Knocked up. They're
Yeah.
very different Seth Rogen movie.
Not
in a way.
that different.
In a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
All right. So
yeah, that's it for Ugly Dolls. Stay tuned in the next
Cut.
video. We'll talk about.
am I just clapping my hands like an idiot?
Yes.
Because
Okay, that's enough.